He is part of NBC's Super Bowl 52 pregame coverage that begins at noon Eastern. He won it as a player. He won it as a coach. He is a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and I am honored to MC tonight's Legends for Charity dinner that supports St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. He is the Pat Summerall Award winner for this year's Super Bowl. He's Tony Dungy. Good to see you, sir.
Hey, Rich, it's good to be with you, and I'm glad to rescue you from Dia.
Thank you. You're
one of a kind.
You arrived in the nick of time. What does it mean to be in this city, in this state? You're wearing your Golden Gopher pants right now.
I am. Yeah. Great memories for me here. I came here as a 17-year-old freshman. Had never really been out of the state of Michigan before, and had an unbelievable time here going to school for 4 years, and then came back and coached for Denny Green for 4. So some awesome memories here for me.
So now, I've asked you this off air, but I can't wait to ask you this now here on the Rich Eisen Show. How did Bo Schembechler not get you in a Michigan Wolverine uniform?
Very funny. I grew up almost equidistant between Michigan and Michigan State. I was on the Michigan campus all the time. My dad graduated from Michigan, was the biggest U of M fan ever. My mom went to Michigan State. So I had that kind of household tension. And I played basketball. I loved basketball. It was my favorite sport. Bo Schembechler said I could play quarterback, but didn't want his quarterbacks playing another sport, not playing basketball anyway. So that just a little bit of a cloud there, and I ended up coming to Minnesota, and it worked out fantastic.
So
for me.
Was Johnny Orr recruiting?
Johnny Orr was the basketball coach. Right. Campy Russell. I mean they had a great team. Ricky Green.
76.
Yes.
They made the Final Four that year.
No, had some great players. I always visualized myself playing with those guys, and I ended up, coming where I had a chance to play. I played 1 year of football and basketball. Then it got to be too much. Bo was right. It's tough to do as a quarterback and a basketball player.
Was Winfield?
Dave Winfield, Jim Brewer, Ron Behagen. Minnesota had just won the Big Ten championship when I was in high school. It was an awesome atmosphere up here for basketball. Cal Stahl, my football coach, had coached at Michigan State. He was Duffy Doherty's ace, #1 assistant. He got the job up here. He knew my high school coach. And Tom Moore, who ended up coaching for me in Indy. Tom was the offensive coordinator at Minnesota. He recruited me. Woody Woodenhofer, who was longtime Steelers linebacker coach, he recruited me also. So just some great people, and it was a great decision for me. It really was.
Was McHale here too?
Kevin McHale came after. Kevin McHale, Michael Thompson, all those guys followed me.
But you were on the campus at the same time as Dave Winfield was on campus?
They were all seniors. When I got recruited, they were seniors. I came in, then we recruited Michael Thompson, Kevin McHale, Mark Oberding, Ray Williams.
Wow.
Yeah, we had some great basketball teams then, and I was glad to be part of it. I scored about 15 points as a freshman.
Total?
Yeah, total, yeah.
Total?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That was my basketball career.
All right. I was about to say, because I'm just doing the math in my head, that's almost as much as LeVar Ball averaged. Oh, wow.
I think I probably scored more points than LeVar in my basketball career.
Tony Dungy here on the Rich Eisen Show. So what does it mean for you to win this Summerall Award here tonight? It is such a prestigious event at the Super Bowl here in Minnesota, of all places, with NBC broadcasting the game for you, Tony.
The Lord just worked this out, Rich, a perfect storm. The Pat Summerall Award, what he meant and what he did as a broadcaster, what he did as a person, and then this whole thing benefiting St. Jude, and I get selected the year that it's in my second home state of Minnesota. We're broadcasting the game, and I know what this is going to do for St. Jude's Hospital and the research. I have a son, a 17-year-old, that has some congenital issues. He's been in and out of the hospital, a lot of surgeries, and trying to find cures for those situations. I know what parents go through, so it's doubly special for me, and really looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, and you go ahead and Google Legends for Charity, and if you're in the area, go ahead and get some tickets, and if not, you need to go ahead and donate. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. It's the only event at the Super Bowl held every year where dignitaries all come together in honor of one specific charity, and it's a great one, obviously, and you are very well deserving of this award,
thank
sir.
you. It's going to be awesome.
It'll be great, and it'll be my pleasure to MC that and get you out to your next destination.
Let me broadcast the game.
Yeah, exactly. Get to do that. So what do you think of this game, Tony? Where do you stand on Super Bowl 52 3 days out?
I think it's going to be a lot better game than people think. Everybody's looking at New England and their dynasty and their history and the fact that they're so experienced. They've been here before. Philadelphia, new kids on the block, and without their starting quarterback. But I was in Philly for the last 2 playoff games and then 3 days with their players doing features. There's a spirit on that team, a belief. They feel good about themselves. And to me, they have the same formula. Not saying they're going to win this game, but you look at the Giants' 2 Super Bowl wins, excellent front four that could rush the passer without blitzing, tough physical teams that could run the ball, and a quarterback who made plays at the right time. And I think Philadelphia has all that. I think it's going to be a great game.
Yeah, and what advice would you give Doug Peterson as he enters his first Super Bowl? What would you pass along to him, Tony?
Well, it's funny you say that, because when we went in Super Bowl 41, I called Andy Reid, Bill Cowher, Mike Holmgren, the guys that I knew that had been to Super Bowls recently. Tell me what it's like. And every one of them said, you've got to get your team to relax. The moment is going to be big, but they've got to enjoy the journey. And everything takes longer Super Bowl week. You're here longer. You've got more things going on. Warm-ups are longer. Halftime's longer. But the playing the game, the 60 minutes is still the same. So try to get your team to focus on that. Enjoy the moment. Let them relax. And I think Philadelphia is doing that to a great extent. Now, they've got a big problem, because New England knows how to play these big games. And that's going to be the key, is the moment, the bright lights. If they can handle it, I think it's going to be a great game.
Well, how did you get the Colts to relax?
Well, the first thing I told them is we're not going to start thinking football too early. We had our media day on Tuesday and then our first practice in Miami on Wednesday. So I said, hey, Monday and Tuesday, I don't even want to know what you're doing. There's no curfew. Edgerrin James and Reggie Wayne were from Miami. I said, you got them.
Wow.
Don't tell me where you're going. Nobody go to jail.
Wow.
I don't want to know what you did. Just relax and have fun. Okay. Wednesday morning, we'll start thinking football. And they did. Edgerrin did something, I don't know what.
Do you know to this day?
To this day, I don't know.
Would you like to know?
I would love to know. I would love to know. And you might have Reggie Wayne sometime, and you could ask him.
He's part of NFL Network. I cannot wait to ask him.
But they relaxed and had fun, and then we zeroed in and tried to do everything Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just as we would on a normal game week.
Ask Tony Dungy the poll question, because interestingly enough, we had Emmett on in this hour. We had Dion on in this hour, and Dion and Emmett are part of the teams that are mentioned, as is Tony Dungy, who won with the Steelers of the 70s. Have at it, Chris Brockman.
Yeah, Tony, what's the greatest NFL dynasty? The Packers, Steelers, Niners, Cowboys, or this version of the Patriots?
The longevity, I think the Steelers, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, the best team. You look at the Hall of Famers and how they did it, and the competition that we played, where you had to beat Oakland and Miami and Dallas, and those teams were loaded, and those just were some great teams. But a 17-year run from 2001 to 2017, that's hard. Nobody's done that. Otto Graham and Paul Brown in the 50s, and they won for a decade, and the Steelers won for a decade. The Packers won for a decade, but to 2 decades.
In the free agency era as well.
Just staying at the top, and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, I know we'll talk about them a lot this week, but to say, hey, we've won 3 times, we've won 4 times, we've won 5 times, but I still want to come in tomorrow, and I'm motivated to be the best football player in the National Football League. I'm motivated to be the best coach after we've already won 5. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting to do what I do for a living with the NFL Network outside of this, being at the Hall of Fame every year, meeting Mel Blount. He looks like he could give me 10, 15, 20 snaps tomorrow, and I see how big he is. He was bigger than Bruce Smith standing next to him, and I'm like, no wonder they changed the rules for this.
The first person I met in the National Football League, I'm an undrafted rookie. I get off the plane in Pittsburgh, The guy gives me a little ticket, get on the bus and go to the William Penn Hotel. So I'm on the bus by myself. I get off, I'm looking around, and don't know where to go. And I'm in the lobby, and this guy comes up to me. Looks like he's 7 foot tall, cowboy hat on, just strapped. And he says, "Oh, you must be, go up here, you'll get your key on the 10th floor." And he said, "I'm Mel Blount." And I said, "This is a cornerback?" I said, "This NFL stuff is going to be different, boy." He was, and still to this day, I mean, he rides horses. He works on the farm. My last year, or his last year of playing, he was 35 years old, and Coach Noel used to run 40s every year. He ran 4.47 his last year in the league at 35 years old. And he told me, I was coaching then. I'm played and retired and coaching. He ran 4.47. He said, "I'm slowing down. I think this is going to be my last year."
Wow. Did he run with the cowboy hat on?
He took the hat off the run. Yeah.
I mean,
unbelievable.
Every time I saw him, I'm like, no wonder they changed the rules.
Yes.
Could you imagine? I mean, obviously you can imagine. You saw it. Tony, I love working with you this past year. I know Thursday Night Football's gone somewhere else. It's been a pleasure doing that. I hope I get to do it again very soon. I can't wait to MC the big night tonight. It's an honor for me to do that for you, sir.
Thank you, Rich. And I wouldn't have anybody else do it but you. It's going to be special.
I appreciate that, and I can't wait to tell Dan Patrick that when I see him. At Tony Dungy on Twitter.
Dan doesn't have Michigan roots like you and I do.
Yeah, he's Ohio. He's Ohio. He's from
guy,
that state down south.
So we can tolerate him, but we'll never be brothers like you and me.
Tony Dungy here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.